I think people don't realize that when you move to New Zealand as a refugee.
But how to make this beautiful future come into action and what they can do.
I have a question is, what are we working towards with this?
Kia ora everyone, I'm Rata from Voice of Aroha, and I'm very, very excited to get to talk with Dani today. Dani is an amazing member of the New Zealand National Refugee Youth Council, and she's got some questions for you lovely politicians, but first we're going to hear about her dreams for what Aotearoa can be. Dani, can you please tell me about some of your dreams, visions, and hopes for the future? What would you like for a better world for us all?
I think we all need more inclusion, diversity, just empathy in general. I think a positive world would be more empathy. I think people forget that when you are having a conversation, you have two people, which is this messenger and the one that is decoding the message. And in between that, you have to decode that message. And the only way to understand each other, even if you're disagreeing, is through empathy. I think I've seen so much problems and issues about what your choice of living is and how I choose to live my life is. And we have so many disagreements, or people just disagree with other people because of their lifestyles. And if we just have a little bit more empathy, we can get there. And so if we just base all of it, everything on empathy, we can get further along. We can think about the environment and get to a compromising about environment. I think in New Zealand, and especially in Wellington, a car becomes a necessity just because of how much you have to move and how hard sometimes it's to move on time to places. But I think there's ways to compromise. I know some houses do, they commute or friends commute to work, and it becomes a compromise on getting things better. And so if you just learn to have the empathy for the environment, the other people, your religion, your choice of living, then we can get further along. I think my happy place in Aotearoa would be just a place that is striving with environment is doing great. We have a great public transport, so we don't need to access as much as we need to cars nowadays. People feeling safe. I love Wellington because it feels like a safe space most of the time, and I just want it to be even more of a safe space for other people and for people to feel comfortable to be themselves. But yeah, that would be my happy place in Aotearoa in Wellington.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Dani. I know you've gone through some challenges in your life, and you've also met a lot of people who've gone through and are going through still a lot of challenges, both in New Zealand as well as from overseas and stuff like that as well. What does it look like to have some of those challenges overcome, and sort of to have a New Zealand in a place where these restrictions aren't constraining people's lives so much? What does that look like to you?
I think people don't realize that when you move to New Zealand as a refugee is different to when you move to New Zealand as an immigrant. As an immigrant, you have opportunities, choices. You might even know the language. As a refugee, you're escaping from a place of danger to somewhere new that you have no idea where it is. You have no idea how the culture works. You probably don't even know the language. And even if you know the basics of it, it's not going to be as easy as people make it seem. It's really hard for a refugee, and I've experienced it with my family, myself, and my friends who are also refugees. It's really tough to adjust to a new culture, language, and also start trying to thrive. For me, it would be so much different if people will have the, again, empathy to ask, are you okay? Do you need it? What do you need? Let the people that are refugees and have suffered the lack of things and commitment lead to make new opportunities and change things for refugees. Make it be by refugees for refugees. Because as much as people are having empathy and trying to understand where you're coming from, they're not gonna get there. They're not gonna understand. And I'm gonna put you this example. When I came here, I was like, how do I catch a bus? Back in my country, you just pay with money or something like that. So I had to search up how to get on a snapper. But no one taught me. Even the people that were working with me from Red Cross refugees, they were lovely. The volunteers were amazing. But those things escape your mind because it's so easy and so normal to you on how to access these things that you forget that these people have no idea whatsoever. And if you put on top of a like language barrier, they don't know how to catch a bus. So how are they going to get to a place to buy a snapper if they live too far away? It's like a lot of stuff that needs to just change. And yeah, it's really hard. And I think overcoming that, refugees could thrive way more if they had the opportunities that they are capable of having, but they're just not given to them. I know so many talented, smart people that have not been able to help. For example, COVID hit and everyone in the world, refugees started working in the medical, like if they had a medical degree back in their country or if they knew how to do things, they will get hired. COVID went under control and they are back where they were before that. So when they needed them, they used them. And then now they're not there anymore and they have to go back to how it used to be. So, place that I think an Aotearoa that thrives with refugees, it's opening opportunities, being empathetic, letting the people, like by refugees, for refugees is so important. We open the spaces for us to talk about it. Be there for us and help us get further along, but don't speak for us. Don't take our voice away. It's so important that we are able to communicate. And now that we've learned the language, we've learned it, so we can speak for other people who are not able to now. And just don't silence us. Let us speak your truth and let us get further along.
Thank you so much for that beautiful korero, Dani. Was just wondering what your questions were for the politicians now about how to make this beautiful future come into action and what they can do to make that so. So, Dani, give us your questions. Thank you very much.
First of all, what are we, like, is there any plan on how to help refugees in Wellington? There are new people in Wellington. There are refugees from other parts of the country moving to Wellington for more opportunities, for work reasons, for study. What are the plans for those refugees to be well adjusted and just have a chance of thriving in Wellington, how it should be? My second question, and this one was inspired from my work this week. I work at a school with little kids. They're refugees. I interpret for them and I'm a teacher aide with them. This little girl comes to me. We're having the little lunch that they give us at school. She's like, I'm going to save these so I can have dinner later. And I'm like, aren't you having dinner at home? She was like, no, not tonight. And she's like, but I'm really hungry. And I'm like, why are you hungry? Like, did you pack your lunch for school today? And she was like, no, I didn't. And I'm like, why didn't you pack it? I don't know. I was expected I was running late. I didn't pack it on time. The answer broke my heart. And it's, we are running out of money. We're running out of groceries. I'm just gonna not eat as much so I can save my parents' money. And if that doesn't make you a little bit uncomfortable with how comfortable you are at the moment, with how sometimes we all think, oh, I'm struggling so much, I'm not paying rent, or oh, life is so expensive. If that doesn't make you realize that you're a little bit richer than other people, then let's practice empathy. But I have a question is, what are we working towards with this? How are we ensuring that these people have enough, like, supplements? Like, it's not only money, it's not only, like, housing. There is so much stuff that these people need. But I just want to know, what are we doing towards it? What are you having any policies? Are you doing any studies on how to help these people further and how to know what's fair and what isn't? It's so much that needs to be covered, and I have not seen anyone working towards that. And I need to see it happen. This cannot keep happening. It's really rough, and yeah. And third but not least, coming to New Zealand as a student, and I'm not talking university, I'm talking school. When you're young, you enter a new environment, different educational system, different language, different culture. We have established that. when you get there, the teachers don't know what to do. The students don't know how to act. You're going to get triggered. You're going to have so many issues adjusting, and no one is knowing what to do. The amount of times I was first here in New Zealand, year 10, my English teacher, I didn't understand in English. She was reading a book and it had like a couple words in Spanish. And she kept asking me, like, did I say that right? I'm not a fact checker. Students will mock your accent, and I still do. I still get mocked by my accent. I'm not losing it. It's part of my identity, and so I'm going to stick with it. But what are we doing to train teachers? What are we doing to train schools on how to act with refugees? We have so many refugees in so many areas of the country. Are we training anyone? I haven't seen anything towards it. We're just expecting teachers to know what to do, and I'm not blaming them because no one is putting the attention on them to be like, hey, this is the protocol. We haven't even studied anything towards it. And it's not the student's job to train the teachers and train the school and tell them what to do. A refugee comes from a place of danger and this is their safe space. This is supposed to be their new home. Why are they responsible for so much when it's not fair? But yeah, those are my questions. What are we doing? Thank you for having me. This is lovely.
Thank you so much, Dani. That was absolutely incredible. Politicians, I hope you have some brilliant answers for that. I'm very excited. Politicians, I hope you have some great answers for that. I think Dani had some fantastic questions, so I can't wait to hear what you come up with. I was just wondering, should finish up with just a recap, actually, of just a little bit of who you are, because you're an incredible person and you've got a wealth of experience, and so just should know for everyone listening where all your experience comes from, and just a little bit about the incredible achievements that you've done in your life and are still doing and are going to do in the future, I'm absolutely sure.
Oh, that was so sweet. Thank you. Same goes to you. You're amazing. I came to New Zealand from Colombia in 2017. I was 14 years old. I moved here as family reunification. When I moved here, I went obviously to high school, year 10. I graduated high school after going to Wellington High School, and that was like a big change for me. That was like the second school that I went into New Zealand, and that was amazing. So much diversity, and I think I love the school so much. At the moment, what am I? I'm a uni student doing Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Communications. I work with the New Zealand National Refugee Youth Council, which is by young refugees for refugees. We try to cover as much as we can, and with the help of other organizations like you guys, which is amazing to work together. My experience with refugees comes from being one myself and seeing so many people experience similar situations, and just it's kind of like funny, I guess, when you meet someone and they're like, I know what you're talking about. So what else do? I do so much work. I overwork myself because that's fun. No, but I love helping people. I love letting people be heard. I love doing things for people that I will have, I love being that person for people that I will have loved having when I was younger, having that support and just someone to listen what I had to say matters so much to me that I'm trying to be that person for the younger people today, and everyone, actually, just anything. So yeah, that's me. There you go.
What an incredible person you are, Dani. And I'm so glad that we've got to hear your thoughts about future of the Aotearoa can be, and I'm sure you are working your absolute best and hardest to make happen. And I hope our politicians, whoever is elected, will do so as well. So thank you so much for all of your beautiful thoughts, words, wisdom, and the really deep love that you shared with us today. So I hope that everyone listens to that and has some really good answers to those questions, and that for all the listeners as well, that you guys can reflect on on the future that you want for Aotearoa and for what the most empathetic policies and voting decisions that you can make are to make this country a place that you feel safe, loved, valued, and can share those feelings with everyone else as well. So thank you guys so much for listening. Really, really appreciate the korero, and best of luck to you, Dani, and for everything as well. Thank you so much for coming chatting with us today.
Thank you for having me. This was absolutely lovely. I love that we can work together as just friends and also like with the organizations. It's lovely to have you, and thank you so much for having me. And I hope the politicians actually have really good answers for these ones, because come on guys, it's time for it. It's been a long time.